Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm here today to do a review of Rotters by Daniel Kraus. This is a YA book published by Random House Children's Books. It's 448 pages and was published in 2011. This is the audio version, and it is published by Listening Library, and it's 16 and a half hours on 13 compact discs, so it's quite a chunk of reading here. I'm going to read you the synopsis on the back. Grave robbing. What kind of monster would do such a thing? It's true that Leonardo da Vinci did it. Shakespeare wrote about it. And the resurrection men of the 19th century Scotland practically made it in art. But none of this matters to Joey Crouch, a 16-year-old straight-A student living in Chicago with his single mom. For the most part, Joey's life is about playing the trumpet and avoiding the daily humiliations of high school. Everything changes when Joey's mother dies in a tragic accident, and he is sent to rural Iowa to live with a father he has never known, a strange, solitary man with unimaginable secrets. At first, Joey's father wants nothing to do with him, but once father and son come to terms with each other, Joey's life takes a turn both macabre and exhilarating. The book starts out pretty much right after his mom has passed away. It strangely begins with Joey kind of telling these various ways in which his mother died, from electrical shock to sudden heart failure. It was a little confusing in the beginning. I didn't understand that until they finally got to the real reason, but I think that was just maybe him trying to come to terms with the suddenness of his mother's passing and being left literally alone in the world, except for some father he's never even met. And this man, who he later learns is by the name of Ken Harnett, lives way out in Iowa. He's very isolated. He has no phone, no internet. It takes authorities quite a long time before they can even reach him by mail. And they later tell Joey that they've made contact. His father's aware of him, that he's coming, that he will be arriving, and that he needs to contact the school and get school books, etc., etc. So Joey sets off on this unknown, life ahead of him to meet his father. When he gets to the train station, there's no one there to meet him but a cryptic note on two streets where he's supposed to go to find his house, and it's quite a long walk. And by the time he hikes his way over there, he finally finds this small kind of ramshackle shack out in the woods, and his father's there half drunk and kind of incoherent, and he doesn't quite know what to make of it. There's no really accommodations for him, and shortly after his father takes off. And Joey's like, there's no books, he doesn't know where the school is, nothing. The next day, he manages to find his way through the help of some of the local town folk, and goes in and manages to get his class schedule and all that stuff. But while he's there's some kids that happen to overhear that he's Ken Harnett's son. Like, oh, you're the son of the garbage man. And Joey's like, he doesn't have garbage man. My dad's a garbage can. And from that point on, pretty much, he is bullied nonstop. They pick on him left and right because of who he is. He's the son of this man. Joey doesn't really know, like I said, anything about his father. There is a definite odor that emanates from the man, but maybe he is a garbage man. He doesn't know. But this bullying is nonstop. And his father's nowhere to be found. For 2 days go by. There's no food in the house. There's no room for him to sleep in. He's sleeping on the floor. He has no money in his pockets. So next time he goes back to school, he's literally forced to try and break into a locker to steal money to buy some food from a vending machine or something. And he's caught by a teacher. To make matters in his life even worse, this teacher decides not to turn him into the principal or anything where he can explain. He decides to make an example of him, to teach him a lesson. So every day in class, he's brought up to the front of the class. It's a biology class, and he's used as an example for whatever biological subject they're talking about at that moment, just to literally humiliate the poor kid. Finally, he does talk to the principal about the situation, and he's given a free lunch pass and everything like that. But they contact the father and saying, you've got to be there, you've got to be present, or authorities will come. And that kind of, angers the father, and the kid butt heads and stuff like that. But at least he's got some food, and there's some possibility of stability here. But he still needs to know what his father is up to. So one night he decides to follow his father, and discovers, no, he's not, in fact, a garbage man, but he's a grave robber. The utter shock and disgust of the situation is just unbelievable. You know, it was shocking. You know, you kind of know because of the subject and everything. But yeah, I cannot imagine being Joey in that situation. And of course, he confronts his father, and the two get to talking. And but here's a boy who's got nothing, no one else to turn to. This is his only lifeline. And as they communicate and stuff, they sort of form an understanding, as it describes in the back. He starts to go out with his father. And like I said, a bond kind of develops, and it's very weird. He learns about this whole society of diggers, as they are known, and we meet a lot of these other characters throughout the book. His father is known by a nickname as the Resurrectionist. There's quite a few. One by the name of Baby plays a very important part. He's quite demented in this story. As the title of the book refers to, rotters, that is what the diggers call the bodies that they unearth. And they are described in nausea-inducing detail. This is definitely not a book for the squeamish. But there's something about the story that you're just compelled to know. I've got to know what's going to happen. This kid literally is digging himself a deeper and deeper hole. How is he ever going to get out and get any kind of normal life? Is he going to, end up getting caught, arrested, killed, whatever? He takes a very dark path from this straight A student. And of course, this whole relentless bullying continues at school. It was just very compelling, very, very well written, very detailed. All the characters that you're introduced to, you learn so much about them and their backstory. And of course, Joey and the development of this character, both physical and emotional, and quite shocking changes that he goes through. Major changes that really surprised me the route it went very much later in the book. I think what made this much more compelling was listening to it on audio. This is read by, and I'm not sure who this is, Kirby Hayborn. It says he received critical acclaim for his starring role in the award-winning World War II drama Saints and Soldiers. He has starred in many feature films and national commercials and has appeared on television in Everwood and Free Ride. I'm not really familiar with those stories, but he does a phenomenal job of bringing life to all these characters. Each one has a very distinct voice and sound. I just thought it was a little quirky that the father, Ken Harnett, sounded a lot to me like Clint Eastwood. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I really, it's just so dark and disturbing and yet so compelling. I had to listen to the whole thing. So I definitely recommend this. Again, not for the squeamish. And I prefer the audio over the book. So if you think about it, give it a chance. I gave it 4 stars. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.